Welcome to the Heart of a Viking. These art lessons are taught by Mrs. Minto from the Cape Henlopen School District in Delaware. I hope you have fun, create imaginative works of art, and make sure you share them with someone because, after all, the visual arts are meant to be seen. Hey Cape artists, and welcome back to the Heart of a Viking. In our episodes today and this whole week, we're talking about America and patriotism, and today is no exception. Today we're going to be learning about the bald eagle. So I learned a lot of really cool facts. My favorite one is that the bald eagle is only found here in North America, which is really cool because I know I see them flying over the skies here in Delaware. So that's really cool. Anyways, we're going to be creating a project today that's actually a collage. So today's bald eagle portrait is going to be a collage. We're going to use some old magazines, cut out some really colorful pages, and use those little pieces to create our beautiful bald eagle collage portrait. So join me, grab your creativity, your art supplies, and of course your thinking cap. Let's learn a little bit about bald eagle and then fly on over to our project. The Second Continental Congress selected the bald eagle as the U.S. national symbol on June 20th, 1782. The Continental Congress then handed the task to Charles Thomson, Secretary of the Congress. He took what he thought were the best parts of the design that had already been submitted and came up with a design that we all use today. A small white eagle had been part of the Third Committee's design. Thomson changed that to be a much more majestic bald eagle. His design was accepted. Bald eagle is a good choice to be the symbol for America because they're unique to North America, making them our eagle. They are strong and independent. They are survivors. They're also majestic, bold, and faithful. And they are symbols of strength and determination. Additionally, most all Native American Indian people attach special significance to the eagle and its feathers. Images of eagles and their feathers are used as many tribal logos, as symbols for the Native American Indian. To be given an eagle feather is the highest honor that can be awarded within indigenous cultures. Both bald and golden eagles and their feathers are highly revered and considered sacred within the American Indian traditions, their culture, and their religion. They are honored with great care and shown the deepest respect. They represent honesty, truth, majesty, strength, and courage, also wisdom, power, and freedom. Bald eagle is an Endangered Species Act success story. 40 years ago, our national symbol was in danger of extinction throughout most of its range. Habitat destruction and degradation, illegal shooting, and contamination of its food source decimated the eagle population. Habitat protection enforced by the Endangered Species Act and conservation taken by the American public have helped the bald eagles make a remarkable recovery. Bald eagles were removed from the endangered species list in August 2007 because their populations recovered sufficiently. Bald and golden eagles are protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, MBTA, and the Bald and Golden Eagle Act. Alright, so before we start, you're going to want to gather up some scissors, a glue stick, a pencil and a Sharpie or a black permanent marker, a white piece of paper for us to create our artwork on, and some magazines that have pages with lots of bright colors. Alright, here we go. Alright, so up first is drawing our eagle. So to begin our eagle, put your paper tall in front of you. We're going to go about 3/4 of the way up. See how I put a little mark there? That's how high I want you to go. And that's going to be the top of the head. So right under that line, I'm going to start drawing an oval or a circle to begin drawing the head. Now I'm adding on the neck. Notice it's not a straight line, but it kind of curves in, but then scoots back out. Now I'm adding the beak to the front of the face of my bald eagle. The beak sort of curves down in the front. It's not a straight out triangle. It kind of curves down. There we go. Don't make the beak too small. The bigger the better. Actually, I'm making mine a little larger here. Okay, now we're going to go down a little bit, sort of straightish, and then curve out the other direction, down towards his chest. The other line was down his back. Okay, so now let's finish up the beak. we're going to go in towards the face this time, so kind of a curved line at the top there, and then from the bottom as well. That shows the part of his beak that goes in towards his face, and this line allows him to open and close his beak. Very important for eating. And then of course I need to erase the part of the head that goes through that beak. Perfect. Now onto the eye. So the eye is going to start with a slight slanted line, like a diagonal line, and then a U shape connected to the bottom of it. Now that slanted line at the top gives your eagle a bit of an angry or mean look. If you'd rather not have that and you want a more friendly eagle, you can go ahead and round off the top of the eye instead of keeping it slanted like mine. And then notice I cleaned up a little bit, and now I'm just going to add a feathery line that goes across the neck to separate the white feathers on his face from the brown feathers on his body. Alright, so now let's find the colors that we need. Everybody is going to need some pages that have red, blue, white, orange, yellow, brown, and black. So we want to try and find pages that have lots of those colors. You can go through your magazines however you want to find the colors that you need and just tear out the pages and have them. Alright, so get your glue stick ready and your scissors and your magazine pages. So I'm going to start with the beak. So I want the beak to be orange. So I'm going to look at the magazine pages I picked out and find the pages that I selected that had some good orange on them. This one, I only like the orange that's right in the center. So I'm trimming away all of the extra stuff, and I'm going to be using the orange that's right in the center. And then you're just going to cut yourself some pieces. I like to start with mostly rectangles and squares. Eventually I probably will cut some that are a little bit more triangular so they fit in the spaces best. So really all you're going to do is cut up your pieces, make them a little bit on the small side, and you're going to put some glue on your white paper right in the space for his beak and stick them into place. And you're going to keep doing that until you've filled in the entire beak with those papers that you needed. One last thing, sometimes the pieces, or actually it's the shape of the space you're filling in, it's kind of a little bit odd and the piece of colored paper sticks out in a strange way. You can always trim the shapes. You don't have to use them as the shapes they are right now. You can always trim your colored papers to fit in the space you need. Alright, so I decided that I wanted a line to be back down the center of my beak so that I could show him opening and closing his beak. So I'm going to use some of these darker orange, almost brown pieces from the edge of where I got the orange ones from, and I'm going to draw that line down the center and just use paper to do it. So I'm just going to use this paper, cut it to the right size, and glue it down. Okay, so moving on to the eye, I'm going to use some of my yellow and my black to make the eye. The only difference here is you're cutting the pieces a whole lot smaller. Phew, I know you can't tell because I sped up the video, but that's sure to take a long time. Cutting the pieces smaller and using your itty bitty pincher fingers, it takes a little bit of time and patience, so work slowly and take your time. It'll be worth it in the end. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to feathery areas. So his head is white and his chest is going to be brown, and both of them are going to be feathery areas. So I'm going to use my scissors only to cut to the colors I need. So once I have the color I need, this time I need brown for his chest, I'm going to change to tearing the paper. That tearing will help it look a little bit more feathery. So using your fingers only, you're going to tear feathery looking pieces for his head and his chest. And then when it's time for you to start gluing, start at the very bottom like I am. That will help you stack the pieces and layer them on top of each other, and that little bit of overlapping helps you to hide the white paper. So see how this piece is a little bit on top of the piece that came before it. Perfect. Don't worry if there are letters and words in the way. People will not be spending time trying to read those words. They'll just be noticing how cool and how textural this project looks in the end. So I know I see words on mine. Some are upside down, some aren't. It doesn't matter at all. Just keep moving forward. Okay, so moving on to the head, I'm going to do the same technique, except this time I'm going to cut littler feathers, smaller pieces, so that I can create a different textural look. So I'm cutting out the white spaces that I want, but then I will tear them into the little pieces that I want to use for my feathers. And just like with the brown feathers, start at the very bottom edge of the white feathery space, so at the very neck, and layer your pieces as you go up from there, putting them a little bit on top of each other every time you add one. All right, so your art project could actually be finished right here. You do not have to go any further if you don't want to. However, it does look really cool if you add some sort of patriotic background. So I'm going to keep continuing with my collaging techniques, and I'm going to be adding a red, white, and blue flag that will be behind my little eagle. So you can feel free to stop here if you want, or you can join me in continuing to move forward to create the patriotic background for him. So I'm going to begin by locating some red, white, and blue pieces and preparing them. The blue ones I'm going to cut into little rectangular shapes, and then my red and my white pieces I'm going to cut into strips, almost like the stripes on the flag. All right, and once those pieces are cut, I'm going to start filling in the top left corner with my blue pieces. Remember that on a flag, the blue space is always in the top left corner, just like mine. All right, and then on to the stripes. I already have the pieces cut, so I'm just going to start placing the pieces on, and I'm putting red, white, red, white, red, white, red, white all the way down. All right, this was definitely the part that took the longest, these red and white stripes, but wow, they're gonna turn out so amazing. It took me probably almost 20 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer, to finish up just the part with the stripes. So take your time, don't lose your patience, but this is what you can get if you take your time and stick it out. Then here's another choice for you. I felt like especially the beak portion of my eagle was blending in a little bit too much with my red and white stripes. So I wanted a bit more of definition. I wanted to be able to see the beak a little more clearly. So I decided to grab my Sharpie and I'm tracing around the edge of my entire eagle. You do not have to do this. It is a choice. So you decide once you're finished up with those stripes. If you feel like yours is blending in a bit too, then go ahead and give it an outline with the black Sharpie. If not, then you can probably leave it just as it is. It'll look great either way. And there we have it. There's our finished Patriotic Bald Eagle Collage. Isn't that amazing? I love all the textures. I love how it looks pieced together. That's my favorite thing about collages is the imperfections. So I hope you had a great time making this. I hope you learned a little bit about patience and a little bit about collages as well. And I can't wait to see you back here next time at the Heart of a Viking. HOB artists, don't forget to hop on over to Artsonia to upload a photograph of your piece of artwork to your art portfolio. I can't wait to see it.